Recently on The Real Housewives of Orange County, Tamra Judge was accused of having an affair with a boy band member. These allegations were presented by Gretchen Rossi, who exited the series after season 8. Now the name of the supposed singer has been leaked, as well as the audio of the RHOC star. Keep reading for more details on who it was. For many seasons of RHOC, Tamra Judge and Gretchen Rossi have gone head-to-head. Tamra accused Gretchen of cheating on her dying fiancé while also calling her longtime partner, Slade Smiley, a deadbeat. Slade was an OG of the OC, and many fans have felt that he is desperate to be a housewife. Before getting with Gretchen, he was engaged to former cast member Joe De La Rosa and had a dalliance with Lori Peterson. Gretchen and Slade exited the series after season 8, but they are back as friends and are making Tamra's life miserable. Recently, Gretchen spilled the tea that Tamra had an affair with a boy band member while recording a song. Furthermore, there was supposed audio of the rendezvous, but Tamra has vehemently denied this. She claimed that she would not say who the person was because she is close to him and his family. However, per Gretchen, it had happened 16 years ago, and audio of Tamra singing has been leaked. The person she was cheating with is supposedly Jeff Timmons, who is a member of the famed boy band, 98 Degrees. Some RHOC fans were not shocked as season 9 cast member, Lizzie Rovsek, dated Nick Lachey many years ago. He is Jeff's bandmate, so the connection was very close to home. Others found the story hilarious and could understand why Tamra would deny this. If she were to date a boy bander, it should be someone with more prestige. Regardless, the general consensus was that the OC was running out of storylines and was grasping at straws. Real Housewives of Orange County viewers have watched the show for 19 seasons. However, they were very verbal in saying that the series needs to take a pause for a while. They do not like the content and feel that it is seriously lacking. As for Tamra Judge and Jeff Timmons, again, the reactions were mixed over whether this happened or not. So did Tamara hook up with Dude while Lizzie was hooking up with Nick? Mara Hale had built an empire on curated chaos. On screen she was razor-witty, polished, and unafraid to ignite a scene with a single raised eyebrow. Off-camera she kept her life buttery smooth, Pilates at sunrise, dinners at the place the producers liked to shoot B-roll at, and the occasional carefully vetted romance that made for good headlines without interrupting airtime. When the first whisper started, it came like a dropped phone in a quiet house, distinct, startling, and impossible to ignore. "Did you hear?" a freelancer messaged in a vein of excitement that made Mara's assistant roll her eyes. "Gwen spilled something about you on her podcast." Gwen Moss, bright, relentless, and once Mara's closest friend, had a way of making the world lean in. She'd left the show 3 seasons earlier under a cloud no one could forget, then resurfaced with a conservative smile and a weekly podcast that scraped gossip like sunlight off a frying pan. Gwen and Mara had been sparring partners for years. Their feuds were ratings gold. People loved the theatrics. They loved the venom. They loved the way both women always emerged with their lipstick intact. This whisper, though, felt different, quieter, meaner, personal. The rumor, circulating on late-night feeds and behind marketing agency doors, claimed Mara had once had an affair with a member of one of the most famous boy bands of their time. It dated back to a stretch of soundtrack credits and late nights at recording studios, to a period Mara had always refused to discuss on camera. Mara's first instinct was laughter. Then anger. Then tactical calm. She knew the machinery that turned rumors into headlines. She had been both the operator of that machinery and its subject for years. She assumed she could pivot. She would issue a terse statement. She would take a break. She would roll her eyes on camera and make them look small. But the rumor mutated. Gwen had claimed on the podcast that there was audio, a clip Gwen said in the way podcasters say everything with the authority of someone who has checked it twice, of Mara singing, of fireworks in a car outside a studio. Gwen said she had heard it years ago, and that she couldn't keep it to herself. Her listeners flooded the feed with questions, receipts, and a hunger that made the microphones sweat. Mara's PR line was rehearsed and neat. "I don't comment on rumors, particularly about private moments between consenting adults." It was true, and empty enough to be useful. But then a low-quality audio file was uploaded to a fan forum before it made its way to the gossip reels. It had been clipped and compressed. The voice was unmistakable. Mara's laugh, a breathy karaoke note, a name half-whispered that would make viewers squint with recognition. The clip looped, and the loop became a drumbeat. The internet is a machine that never blinks. Within hours the clip had been transcribed, remixed, and paired with photos from 20 years of red carpets. Headlines materialized that balanced accusation with spectacle. Star singer linked to reality star? What really happened? The band's label issued a short, corporate denial. We do not comment on rumors. That was all the oxygen the rumor needed to swell. On set, cameras rolled like indifferent ocean waves. Mara signed off on another confessional, smiling with a practiced vulnerability. Cameras loved vulnerability. Viewers loved drama. The producers loved profit. Yet Mara felt the tide rising inside her chest, a kind of pressure she'd never felt before because this rumor hinted at something private and intimate, and private things have a weight that tabloids can't lift without breaking. Gwen, in a separate interview, told the story she'd told on the podcast but sharper, more incriminating. I heard it, Gwen said, fiddling with a bracelet that matched her voice, spare, metallic, unsentimental. Not like a jealous ex. Not like a vindictive friend. I listened because I thought someone should know. It's been on my mind for years. Mara had been stoic and measured in public, but privately she stalked to her walk-in closet and slapped a fur throw onto the couch. Slade Devlin, once a fixture on the show and now a guest-turning guest on other people's melodramas, tried to mediate with amateur philosopher quotes and misguided warmth. He suggested a joint statement, a pillow with a message, a charity lunch. Slade's attempts were well-meaning and useless. Mara wanted two things, the truth and the audio removed. But truth in this city is rarely a single thing. It is a negotiation with cameras, with memory, with the versions of oneself sold for public consumption. The audio, where it existed, was not as crystalline as people wanted. It was grainy, the cadence masked by static. There were laughter and a name clipped in such a way that everyone heard what they wanted. Fans began pairing the clip with other suspicious artifacts, old interviews, a social media photo of Mara with a shadowed man in the background from years ago, a tabloid column that dated back nearly 2 decades. The alleged band member. Mara asked bluntly, "Did you have to? Did you have to name me?" Gwen answered with a slow, practiced honesty. She had said what she knew. Gwen had been haunted by the idea that silence had been her ally for too long. "You made me the story," Mara said. "You gave them a name." "I told what I'd heard," Gwen said. "I thought maybe someone should know." "Someone should know?" Mara repeated. "About what? That I kissed someone? That I sang karaoke drunk in a car?" "Gwen, you made it an accusation. You turned it into a scandal. You know how they eat that." They both knew how the machines worked. A whisper, amplified, becomes a verdict. Gwen offered nothing in return but the explanation that she had been lonely and needed traction, and that the rise of the podcast had made her bold. For a moment they were simply two women holding different versions of a private past and watching how the public chewed them. Meanwhile, the show's comment threads were a thicket of knives and bouquets. Some fans defended Mara fiercely, invoking loyalty and the long history of manufactured feuds. Others snickered, reveling in the idea that their favorite star had been dancing with rock and roll ghosts. A third group, more jaded, said it didn't matter, reality TV had been stale for seasons. If anything, they wrote, this was a last-ditch attempt to resurrect interest. The producers, always tuned to the current, met in a glass conference room that smelled faintly of citrus and sweat. Ratings were a slow leak they tried to patch with a well-placed reveal. Someone suggested a teary reunion episode. Someone else suggested silence, letting the story burn itself out. The director suggested a sly montage, snippets of the audio interlaced with reaction shots, knowing full well the legal department would push back.